Alright, there we go, 6:22 on Saturday. No, all good. It just takes, you got to be careful you don't fall over and put everything on slowly. Saturday the somethings. I don't even know what date it is. First, second, third, Saturday the 4th, I think. Leaving Windhoek, 6:22. Let's go. Ciao. Okay, Patrick, this one's for you. It is a bit nippy. But of course this is the morning, not the evening. Evenings I find are quite balmy. 6:22, so I was up at 5:05, bucked for a bit, and then so Patrick, this is the road right to the airport, Hosea something, the 50k out one. A little bit of memory lane. Not sure how visible this will be. I think it should be okay. In terms of the darkness and the GoPro, you'll see something. Bring back some memories for old part of you. So I'll be heading to Gibeon. About 300 k's from here. For tonight. And then a town called Bethany. Some quaint hotel. Oldest hotel in southwest Namibia. Then for one night, Monday, Rosh Pina. And Rich, you said we'll have to watch flooding and whatever, but that'll be a few days away, so maybe any flooding will have subsided by then. So Rosh Pina, and then I couldn't find it. Well, there was accommodation in Oranienwind, but it was just crazy expensive. I think it was on game farms or funny things, like $2,000 a night or something. One of the places that Sky Lounge place that I did the video before is just here to the left and up. And that other one I went to, that village garden thing, was down to the right here. You can go for about a K or so. And kind of getting to my university sessions on Wednesday and Thursday nights was basically straight on this road, San Njoma, and you just keep going through the city centre, and just the other side of the city centre you get to the university. 2 really nice sessions with students. The second day was particularly good. Really good energy in the room. Yesterday I did my LinkedIn sort of pre-announcement, when I sort of say, listen, I'm arriving in whatever location, start trying to warm up the network. And I already had some hits. One seemingly quite senior guy said, okay, let's meet. Well, so what I do is I do the general post, and then I go through my LinkedIn contacts from Cape Town, Western Cape, and I DM them through LinkedIn to say, hey, did you see the post, blah blah. So from that, 2 people have come back to me, and one really promising one from the city of Cape Town, working in their enterprise development section. It really is funny how quickly it gets light. And Robin, you can meteorologically, or someone geographic, tell me why. Because when I was packing the bike at probably just before 6, you know, it was like bright stars in the sky. And then all of a sardine is just gone. So as many of you probably know, Windhoek's hell of a hilly, and I don't know the geographic reason for that either. So I mean, all the way from Rundu, Grooties, all the way down, mostly flat with some mountainy things, as you saw or might have seen. The Mureu Mall, there's a new mall on the left somewhere there where I went to have that beer the first day. Quite a new thing. It's clearly a South African mall. Just looks just like Cresta. Well, it's quarter of the size of Cresta, but you know, a few local shops, the local cell phone shop, the local this, local that, but otherwise it's just looks like you're walking through Cresta. And this is pretty much a city centre, the Hilton on the right, and I'm heading to the B1 there. To Rehoboth is my town. So guys, I never even got to the city centre really. I mean, you know, didn't explore too much, but that's it. I'll turn off once we're on the highway, which is not too far away. What about issues I've picked up on the bike? One, my left foot peg excuse me, keeps coming loose, and I think the thread on one or both the bolts is gone or going, so I need to attend to that, because that's not especially if I'm stretching and standing up on the foot peg and suddenly the whole peg drops off. I mean, it won't be, I'll just obviously sit down on my bum, but it's you know, it's not a pleasant situation, because you can end up, your foot could drop and hit the road, and then it flicks back, and you know. So that's one thing. The oil leak I've been mentioning to a lot of people. Well, some oil issue. Is this where I must turn? I think it is actually. Rehoboth. Okay, so when the light turns, that says Rehoboth over there. And away we go. So the foot peg, the oil issue. I mean, I checked the oil yesterday, just that, you know, water's fine, oil's fine, but no, so I haven't lost oil since I topped up in Grooties. So I really am suspecting it's just a breather issue or something. It blew out from somewhere because of riding at sort of 5,000 revs instead of keeping to its comfortable 4. which of course I'll just keep doing. So the foot peg, the oil, and then I just discovered this morning, putting my stalk in that I put my GoPro on, that there's something getting worn there. The clamp I've got on my handlebar, the female thread and the male thread from my stalk, I think the shaking is making that little attachment not so lacquer. That's about it. So as far as business is concerned, I do leave Namibia with a solid, likely partner intact. Chap I met, so we didn't link to him. He's running a business as well, so he didn't have an awful amount of time to set up meetings and do all sorts of things, but we met yesterday for dinner, drinks and dinner. Accountant guy, you know, he trains, he has got corporate experience, but he's been working in the entrepreneur development space for quite a while. It's a space he really loves, well networked in, knows all the players, the stakeholders. So that's really promising. But we just see as opportunities come and go. So I mean, initially, well, primarily, I'm saying I need a sales partner. But of course, that if a country gets, you know, slightly busy, that also goes into a delivery partner. Or at the least we've got to find a facilitator, because to some extent, yes, I can fly around and do stuff, but you know, to build a business we need capability all over. So this guy would be both, because he's done both. So just be a matter of training him up on the material, which will be very quick, because he knows all the stuff. It's just kind of getting on top of the way I do stuff. Oh my goodness! Oh, stop! And I'm finding it's a bit interesting, because I've been a week without riding with load, but I'm pleasantly finding that I just kind of took off this morning. There wasn't that same, it feels like it's comfortable. Oh, what does that say? Rehoboth. Pioneer. Okay, I think we're going onto the actual highway now. Must be over there somewhere. Cyclist friends, there seems to be quite a strong cycling community here. When I was out last weekend around, they, on their bikes and off they go. So all cyclists welcome, and runners. So Namibia is quite small, 2.5 million people, I think. So they really do feel like a kind of a little, I'm not even little in the wrong way, but just so much stuff comes from South Africa. I think the rand is stuck at parity, so there's so much that happens here that is dependent on the big neighbor. But well, they don't get load shedding, because that's part of the deal, I guess. So it is a fairly tiny economy, so I think that does constrain opportunities to some extent and development things. I didn't see what that said. What did that say? I think I'm going to go straight nevertheless, because that looks like a nice big intersection. And we are 94 k's to Rehoboth from where I was living, and we're on like 10, I think. Rehoboth, I like that. I don't want to go to Okahanja because that's where I came from. So they're probably going to send me right, I guess, then. Feels a bit odd because that's east, so I'm going southeast at the moment. No, Rehoboth is where I want to go. So where's that highway going? E1 Rehoboth, that's correct. I didn't like that big highway that I went over. That was a bit skrikwekkend to see that. Okay, so I might want to pull over here somewhere then and say, what the hell? The Rehoboth definitely is the town. But where that highway is going to, I've got no idea. So there was a little mistake when I was going to the university. I saw, oh, there's the sign to Rehoboth. But I thought it would quite quickly take me onto the highway. So there, another small error, you know, not actually checking exactly the road fully until, you know. So this is always a little bit tricky because you've got to balancing the bike on my left foot and taking your gloves off, and you know there's a high, well, whatever, the center of gravity is high, so you lean a couple of degrees and you feel it's like going, whoop, whoop. So let me get to there. Let me put on my location. Let me switch off my Wi-Fi. Let me go back to maps and say, take me to where I am, baby. Come on. Not really. And now, of course, I haven't got my reading glasses on. No, I'm right. No, I'm quite right. I'm going south. I got confused with the... because I'd gone... Okay, now it's making a bit more clear. I think I'd gone up and down and whatever I'd done. So that road left would have taken me west, actually, onto the Western Bypass. So I'm heading due south. Okay, location off. It's a big truck passing. Richard, if you're watching this, I hope you're enjoying the Kardashian experience. Not quite sure this is too stimulating, getting your popcorn and chips out and watching 20 minutes of this, but anyway, let's keep going and then I'll switch off shortly. Come on, Chris. More beer, more beer, more beer, more beer. More beer, more beer. More beer, more beer, more beer, more beer. More beer, more beer. Da da da. Right, Rehoboth. Oh, it's a bit chilly. But what I did remember to do is put that little balaclava thing around my neck, the one that normally hangs off my helmet for sun. I thought, geez, let me just put it around my neck, and I could feel that was a good idea. Oiled my chain yesterday. No, not yanked my chain, Glenn, I know, and Kevin. A lot of humour for 6:40 in the morning, I'm guessing. Right, nudging up to 4,000 revs. Let's just go around this corner. Some good news on the work front is that app I mentioned previously. There's an app that we're looking at, or that's, well, going digital has been on the cards for, as I said previously, it's been on the cards for 4 years, I guess. 2018 somewhere, 2019 definitely. Certainly in 2018 there was piles of things running around my head. Well, in fact, it goes back 10 years. You know, originally saying, jeez, you know, when you build a digital offering. So, I mean, but there wasn't, that was just more pie in the sky stuff. But we've hit on something. Idea a couple of weeks ago, so nothing, well, it is a little bit new, well, in terms of not exactly in that form, but we're pulling a bit of a thing together. I found on Upwork, I found a guy to do some dev work. Well, he's strat dev, he's a high level Zoho guy, because we're saying let's build the MVP using as much white label stuff as we can, just, you know, so it's a functional, we're functionally proving it, we're just using, well, let me speed up. Okay, that only took us up to 110, 4,000. Anyway, so I found in fact the guy's in Bloemfontein. That was quite funny. I think he's the only Zoho creator guy. Yeah, anyway, but it seemed to make sense. So I got him to do a tight little bit of architecting. We had quite a long, probably over 2 hours discussion on Thursday. Well, a quick introductory chat on Wednesday, just to check each other out a little bit. So we had, I suppose, what you could call a discovery call yesterday, for him to get a clear idea of what's in my head. So he's going to do some architecting. And yeah, we started to shop the idea around here and there just to see what bites. Isaac's going to talk to some people up there. So it's looking promising. I was talking to the guy here in Namibia about it. He's saying, wow. But really, of course, like it always was, you know, the concept is a platform of a whole bunch of services. Maybe primarily to entrepreneurs, we'll see, but you know, that's the easier segment in a way, because it's the value proposition is very, very clear. But it's always been, where do we start? You know, what's the start? What's the first thing we do to start getting interest? But you know, I already know there's going to be development going on for however long, because once you start, we've got all sorts of ideas. There's all sorts of things to do to add modules to make that a more value-added space. Alright guys, let me just get over this hill. Maybe that'll be the sun. Let's see if we can see the sun as our little goodbye wave. And then we'll be... Okay, my trip meter's playing up again. I think it doesn't like the cold. Well, I had to reset it when it was cold, because I forgot to do it at the garage last night. And when I press the reset button, you can feel it's going, it's a bit like Patrick's knee. It's like, no, don't do that to me so early in the morning. Okay. But I'm guessing at 20 k's already. 22 k's. Ooh, getting nice and warm coming out of that hole. So someone needs to write in the comments on this video why Windhoek is so hilly. What the geological thing is. Was it a meteor? Is it tectonic? Is it aliens? Ooh, this is going to be pretty, I think. Ooh, look, lots of hills, man. What if it's going to be like this all the way south? This is nice riding road, man. Sun's over there peeking out to the right. Let me just turn this doodle-my thingy. Hey, look at that, chaps. Namibian sunrise. Da-da-da. Oh, watch the road. So I did choose a slightly different route. Instead of barreling all the way down to Windhoek on the highway, well, on the main highway, I'm doing at Gibeon. I'm punching in to the west to go to the coast. It's a tar road. That was my decision criteria. If it was gravel, I wouldn't have done it. So tar road, but it looks like it's a lot windy. There's a pass. So it's going to be an interesting, I think it's going to be an interesting bike route. Alright guys, I think it's going to start getting a bit boring. None of you have fallen asleep already. So I'll say bye-bye.